In the previous video, we built all of the sharp keys and completed a little over half of the circle of fifths diagram. The last scale completed was the key of C sharp, in which every note was sharped. We could continue with our method of building the next scale from the fifth note of that scale, but we would be forced to add a double sharp to the next major scale, and we don't want that, so the scale that lives at the 8 o'clock spot will be known as the key of A flat, which is the equivalent of G sharp. Perhaps it is best for us to go back to the top of the circle and work our way around counterclockwise. If traveling clockwise around the circle was to go up in fifths, then to travel counterclockwise around the circle must be to go down in fifths. If I were to go down an interval of a fifth from C, I will wind up on F. Therefore, going down a fifth will be the equivalent of going up a fourth. This means that traveling the opposite direction around the circle of fifths can be thought of as the circle of fourths. Whether you look at it as having gone down a fifth or up a fourth, the key that lives at the 11 o'clock spot is F. Let's build the F major scale by following the step pattern. Notice that when we get to the fourth scale degree, we are forced to lower that note in order to create the half-step interval that is required by the step pattern. The fourth note of the key of F major must be a B flat. Finishing this scale requires no more alterations. To determine which scale belongs at the 10 o'clock spot, we will once again go down a fifth or up a fourth from the tonic of the last scale. Either way, the next scale should be built from B flat. Following the major scale step pattern from B flat, we find it is necessary to lower the fourth scale degree from E to E flat. We will want to keep track of the order that flats are being added, just as we did with the order of sharps. So far we have added a flat to B and then to E. If we continue this order of operations, eventually we will build a scale in which every note has been flatted. Notice that there is an enharmonic equivalent for each of the sharp keys located at the 5, 6, and 7 o'clock spots. B is also known as C flat, F sharp is also known as G flat, and C sharp is also known as D flat. Let's have another look at the order of flats, that is, the order flats were added to the scales as we traveled backwards through the cycle of fifths, which is also known as the cycle of fourths. If a scale contains two flats, the two notes at the top of this list will be the notes that get the flats. If a scale contains three flats, the three notes at the top of this list will be the notes that get the flats, and so on. Another mnemonic device can be used to help in memorizing this list. I like this one. Bald eagles always do good catching fish. Or the word bead followed by GCF, or greatest common factor. I will now build a correct E flat major scale by adding the flats after arranging the letters in alphabetical order. The E flat major scale contains three flats. First, place the letters in alphabetical order from E to E. Next, add the flats by following the order of flats. Bald eagles always, making sure to add the flat to the E at the beginning and the end. This is now a correct E flat major scale. At first glance, it may appear to contain four flats when there are only three in this key. It is important not to count the octave of the tonic as a new flat. By memorizing the amount of sharps or flats contained in each major scale and memorizing the order that sharps or flats are added to each major scale, any major scale can be conceived.